I came to arrest him. Chris used his account to collect money from Foster's church account. They paid $60,000. When they paid the money, the people agreed 10% with Chris Okafor. When the money landed, Chris became greedy and collaborated the money only for him.
This Doris Ogala, now she appealed to the police that she just had an operation for the treatment of appendicitis, if I recall, and that she needed more medical care to help. And the police obliged her that they were going to, and investigation will proceed. And a caution was given to her that you don't go back to social media to continue your onslaught. Whatever you have, hold it, bring it before the authority. She left allegations, and when they told her that to come further to buttress the allegation, she has refused to show up.
Praise Nation with a clapping ovation. Join me as I welcome a blessing from divinity to humanity. Talk, priest, Okafor.
This is Imagi Praise TV, bringing the light.
Hello, first time of seeing our videos, kindly like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get more Christian news. God bless you. In this video, we will be looking at Pastor Chris Okafor and Doris Ogala. As you all know, the issue between Pastor Chris Okafor and Doris Ogala has ended or has not ended. That is what we are going to be looking at, and continued to move on in 2026. With the so much allegation such as Doris Ogala etc. Pastor Chris Okafor, who promised Doris Ogala marriage, failed to marry her, and went on to marry another lady in 2026 January. On seeing that and hearing that Doris Ogala let the cat out of the bag, can all those allegations be true by Doris Ogala? 2026. Pastor Chris Okafor, who told his congregation and the world that is stepping down from his pastoral duties for 1 month. Pastor Chris Okafor, who said him and his wife are going to seek the face of God over the issue on ground that they will be back in February 2026. That his assistant pastor should take over till he comes back. On seeing this, Doris Ogala was not still satisfied. She accused Pastor Chris Okafor for killing her brother. Pastor Chris Okafor, who told his church members and the world before stepping down from his pastoral duties, said all what Doris Ogala accused him of, most of them are not true. That some are true, why some are lies. Wow, interesting. Those it means that Pastor Chris Okafor did most of the things he was accused of, such as sleeping with young girls such as his biological daughter and in his church, giving fake prophecies and performing fake miracles, the killing of Doris Ogala brother. Which of these accusations do you think Pastor Chris Okafor did? Meanwhile, very dark man who brought out one of Pastor Chris Okafor daughter out for interview happens to be the one Pastor Chris Okafor sent to Canada for her education. The young lady who said her name is Amarachi said she can't speak the evils that her eyes has seen from her biological father, Pastor Chris Okafor. The young dark man in a video that her father slept with her by forcing himself on her. When Pastor Chris Okafor saw this, he replied to very dark man that all what was said by that young lady who happens to be his daughter are all lies. Pastor Chris Okafor, who brought out his lawyer, Mousewell Hopakrin, who told very dark man and Doris Ogala to come to the court to prove evidence of what they have said about Pastor Chris Okafor, and warn them not to do such again. The lawyer who said, there was once a time Doris Ogala did such things. They watch again, but why is she out now again? In February 2026, the unusual happened in a viral video of Pastor Chris Okafor coming back to his church as a pastor. Congratulations to him. Those it means Pastor Chris Okafor do my prophet no harm. Psalm 105 verses 15. Let's watch the video.
If this is your first time of seeing our video, kindly like, share, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube channel to get more interesting videos. God bless you.
This Doris Ogala started with our client. There was some time in November 2024, they had a lawful business dealing where she admitted she was going to render help for a third party, because I feel it's between them, so I wouldn't bring the third party in. And the third party and these two people continued with their transaction. At some point, my client felt if Doris cannot do what was meant to be done in terms of what the investigation ought to be carried out, then there is no point her continue with that engagement. Then he decided to disengage and informed the third party. Now, I feel Doris felt offended with this position and felt she hadn't gotten what she was deserving of her, came on social media with an outcry, repeatedly damaging the man's image. That was sometime last year. The client got her arrested, our client got her arrested, and thereafter she was charged to court for cyber stalking, cyber bullying, and threat to his life. Surprisingly, people intervened that you cannot be seen as a clergy taking reproach. It was more like you're trying to strong arm this individual. Then they told her, for the purpose of peace, why not just give her something, make some concession. And as normal, the court would always encourage restitution, amicable settlement and all. And there was a settlement to that effect. I have a copy of the settlement here. I was settled out of court and formed part of the court's record. Now, in this settlement, she got a particular amount. I'm going to have copies of this after certifying it, made across to the public. And in this settlement, one of the clauses is that after this money is being paid, she would undertake never to contact, never to have any dealing, never to engage, or never to mention this man's name in public for any reason. She got her payment. The court adopted it. She was indemnified for whatever service. In those proceedings, she never made mention that she had any affair, intercourse, or anything that had to do with the man. I am talking as a lawyer, and I'm talking based on records. And I want you to actually listen to me without any idea of prejudice or bias, because I have no skin in it. I have nothing to lose. We're just doing our work. And I want the press corps to rely on facts of this matter. Thereafter, you would see withdrawal of criminal charge, that our client will withdraw this. The settlement sum is being stated, non-disparagement, confidentiality of the agreement, no further relationship, the entirety, and final settlement and waiver, because he waived his right to continue to prosecute her. She came on media, never said anything about it. Came on media emphasizing, cherry-mongering the issue of an affair. Our client chose not to respond, because I told him, you respond this quickly, you're fighting in a dirty manner. Why not just exercise restraint and build your case? Thereafter, we saw the very dark man got involved, was parading someone as a child, as a daughter of the man, with another narrative. Now, before I skip the young lady, she initially started by saying there was an affair. She needed to be compensated. Then she moved to the wedding would not hold. Then when the wedding held, he went back to our lawyers were filing an action, a claim. And all and behold, we got hold of her claim. She was demanding the sum of 1 billion naira. And I know there is no member of the press that believes she's worth that much. Well, I personally think such character is not worth that much. And she abandoned the claim because we were relieved, like, oh, now that you're coming to court, everyone is going to make that position known before the court. She went ahead demanding for a house. She left the house, went ahead demanding for full payment. Thereafter, a very dark man came, and when all that did not stick, came out with a child, with a daughter or a young lady that claims to be the man's child. Due to privacy, and because we're not in a family court, I won't reveal so much that has to do with the interaction or the relation between the said lady and my client. And there's so many surrounding family issue between the lady's mom and our clients. And there are steps being taken by those individuals and our clients. And I can tell you on record that all evidence that such allegation never existed have been put before the police. Irrebuttable evidence that there was no assault, there was no child molestation, there was nothing. The young lady, I can tell you on record, if I have the right of the court or the right of my client to disclose it to you people, about why and what led her making those allegations. And you can always contact the investigative police officers to confirm if they have knowledge of that fact. Now, going ahead, there is another organization called Car Truth Podcast. Car Truth Podcast, now, before I forget, before that did not stick, the compensation, the money. Then she went to the issue of someone was killed and buried in the church, and that the DSS, the police, should investigate or prove the church. We got her arrested in Abuja, hauled to Lagos, in an interaction with the highest office of the police in Lagos here. Interrogations was gone, and she was clearly asked when my client stated that you said I killed somebody and buried the individual in the church. Is that correct? And she denied with a capital letter, no, I never said that. The police and everybody busted into laughter. You also said my client raped his wife, hence the wife was forced to that marriage. She denied it without blinking twice. We were there. She demanded that she needed a lawyer before she could take her statement. They availed her that right. Our lawyers came through. She was writing the statement, and to our bewildering, she doesn't even understand what cyberbullying is. She doesn't understand what cyber harassment was. They asked her, even if you have a claim of promissory to marry you, which the man declined to marry, is this how you assert and enforce your rights? She said she wasn't bullying him, she only cried out to the public. And I am quoting, I only cried out to the public. You are press people, you have freedom of journalism. At the end of the whole episode, you can always apply for records of these things to see. Now she appealed to the police that she just had an operation for the treatment of appendicitis, if I recall, and that she needed more medical care to help. And the police obliged that they were going to grant her bail to go, since it's towards the Christmas period and there's going to be a long vacation. Parties should return and investigation will proceed. And a caution was given to her that you don't go back to social media to continue your onslaught. Whatever you have, hold it, bring it before the authority. She left, and all of a sudden we saw her again ranting over social media, making false allegations. And when they told her, these allegations that you're saying, make sure on the next appointment with the police, bring them forth, you will be surprised that they have been calling her to come further to buttress the allegation. She has refused to show up. And I leave that to the police because they know the appropriate steps to take. Now, going back to Very Dark Man, I had a deceased and desist letter to write that under the law, you have no such authority. You can't bring someone out. If there is a crime that has been committed, what you do is you take note of the crime, get a legal practitioner, make a formal complaint to the police. The police looks into it and will take the appropriate steps. You cannot be the accuser, the defendant, the judge, and all in one case. We saw the coordinated way it was going. And when I wrote him, I had my staff mail it to him by WhatsApp, telling him under the law, you cannot be soliciting that anyone that has problem against this man be coming out. That's criminal public incitement. So if for some reason I was in the university, I had a dealing with a friend who has chosen not to forgive, or you have a dealing with a colleague who for some reason had nothing to do with the issue at hand, but he wants to take a pound of flesh, and you start soliciting public to come to do what exactly? That is an harassment. That is an irresponsible use of social media and an irresponsible use of your right.
If this is your first time of seeing our video, kindly like, share, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube channel to get more interesting videos. God bless you.
Every time God wants to help man, he sends a prophet to their midst. This morning we have a prophet in our midst. Do you know who I'm talking about? I'm talking about God's choicest servant.
Yes, sir.
The generational prophet of God. Is this how you are celebrating this grace? What is about to happen this morning, even heaven is aware. God is aware.
Yes, sir.
Are you aware?
Yes, sir.
Are you aware?
Yes, sir.
Tell your neighbor, my life is about to change. Grace Nation.
Yes, sir.
Grace Nation.
Yes.
Grace Nation. With a clapping ovation. Join me as I welcome a blessing from divinity to humanity.
Yes, sir.
God's choicest servant, the generational prophet of God, Dr. Chris Okafor.
Yes.
Celebrate grace.
We are glad to be back. We do best what God ordained us to do. This is Imaji.
The official inauguration